Mahomes, first of all, he must have took Toradol at halftime, right? I mean, we just that's the wonder shot. If
I
there's
was
ever
being
been a
asked
wonder
that
shot,
too. I was
yeah,
being that with friends
that's
and
that
family
is
that was over.
that's
They're
the
like,
wonder shot,
"You
man.
ever take
Toradol is the
anything?
best.
Yeah, what you take them on for to kill pain?" I was like, I said Percocet, and it was the one little. I can't remember the other one, but
I
Toradol,
was
that's a big one.
Toradol is it for me. I took a Toradol. I hurt my back about 5 years ago in a weight room when I was working in Miami. They gave me a Toradol shot, and I hadn't had one in about 15 years, or about 10
Right.
years.
Yeah.
And I felt like for that moment, for that 6 hours, you feel like you're 14 again. I mean,
Yeah.
your
You're.
joints are just like, oh my goodness gracious. So it's real. Hey, for fans out there, it's real. Toradol is a real deal. Okay,
Yeah.
so AG, we knew Spagnuolo was going to have to kind of guess right a couple times, right? The defensive coordinator
Yep.
for the Chiefs, and so early on in the game, he fires Holden through the B gap here, and they have answers for it early on. I mean, things are just going really, really well for the Philadelphia Eagles, particularly on this first drive. The one thing I want to you just can't say enough. And the difference between the Chiefs and the Eagles, and going back to just real quick, because I think it's important that we talk about this because it's kind of
Right.
show we are. Well, a lot of people say, well, the Eagles and the Chiefs had to play on the same field. It's like, okay, I understand that. Now let me tell you the difference, particularly on the offensive and defensive lines. When you look at the two tackles for the Philadelphia Eagles, you look at Jordan Mailata, and then you look at the All-Pro, probably first ballot Hall of
Lane
Famer Lane
Johnson.
Johnson. The
Yep.
way that they set very, very effectively for inviting. Basically, they're telling you you're running out of options, and you're going to have to bull rush me. You're not going to get my edge. You don't see Lane Johnson and Jordan Mailata. You don't see a lot of guys trying to run the loop on those guys, right? In other words,
No.
they set back, they settle, and they're just kind of giving ground, arm fighting, and they're waiting for you. They want you to engage. They don't want you to try to take an edge. So you don't see too often with these guys that they're just going to immediately flat set unless they have help and they can
Right.
force a guy inside. They're not going to just give up edges. Whereas Orlando Brand Jr. and Andrew Riley, they will do that from time to time, and they're not as fast off the ball as these two. So they do play a lot with trying to run the guy over the top of Patrick Mahomes. And the difference being in this situation, you see these rushes, and we'll show a lot of them today, where the Philadelphia Eagles line is like right in front of their defensive tackle or defensive end on every snap. And so Jalen Hurts has this super clean pocket where there's just nobody around because those two tackles in particular do a great job of getting to their real estate spot under control. They can't get beat around the edge. So these guys have to end up, especially with the slippery field, they just end up bull rushing them, and it negates their power as a pass rusher.
Yep. And it's just making sure you're balanced from the ground up. We talked about it last week. Make sure your feet are even, where you can get in those positions where you can't get beat on the edge or beat up with a bull rush.
You see the super clean pocket,
Yep.
and then this is just a real easy. They're going to do a run the crosser, the shell across to Devonta Smith, and anytime that linebacker or safety right there has his chest facing the quarterback, and Devonta Smith's running across his face,
Yep.
you're just not going to make that play. This is just all. Remember when we double teamed Justin Jefferson, and we said the difference was when the safety turns his chest to Justin Jefferson and can attack him. That's one thing. When the
Yep.
safety turns his chest to the end zone or the quarterback, that's just something completely different. And this is all happening a lot faster, right? But for like fans out there, when you're thinking about like why do these plays work, it's really body position, nothing else.
Yeah, body position, and you got the speed element of Devontae Smith versus a linebacker. So, and I was just about to say, and Chiefs through this whole game was physical.
This
They brought
Reed's
the
from
hammer.
He's a Houston Texan. He got traded over, man. This guy's great, man. He was great watching with the Texans. He's a hammer, bro.
I said that was another thing the Chiefs defense did. They set the tone with physicality. They brought it defensively to them. They told Philly, okay, yeah, we knew you're gonna run the ball, but we're gonna hit y'all when we can, and they did. And same flip for their Philly defense too. Pacheco got stood up. The guy actually spent around once or twice when he was running hard, and number 23, I can't think of his name right now,
Gardner
laid
Johnson.
into him. Gunnar Johnson laid into him well in the third, fourth quarter.
So you see, this is really simple, and Jalen Hurts. They're playing zone defense here. Everybody's facing him, but they still have zone responsibilities with the guys with the receivers in their zones. Excuse me. And you just see Dickerson just seals off that nose tackle, and Jalen Hurts is like, no problem. I see space. See space, take space, right? And it's as easy as this. And again, when we're talking kind of offensive line play and how you think about things, when you're an offensive lineman, there's usually 4 rushers, so there's an extra guy. When you're helping, it's not about like just helping and being like that hand. It's about moving a guy out of the way and creating a lane for your quarterback, right? Or disrupting the pass rush of that defensive tackle or defensive end, or making sure that, like, for example, a defensive end doesn't want to come into the B gap ever again, like slamming him into the ground. But these guys do a great job of like creating that space, and so this lane for Jalen Hurts is just obvious and bides him time. And this is what he can do, right? He can get to that first down marker where a lot of guys aren't going to be able to do that. So they end up scoring on that drive, and we talked about it. Field conditions, man. This is the second play of the game, bro.
Yep.
Second play of the game. Josh Sweat won. Hassan Reddick doesn't even have a guy on him.
They're both down. Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't even. Wow.
Yeah, this is how bad the game was. I mean, I put probably 8 of these in here. I could have put 18. Wow. Defensive tackle. I mean, Javon Hargrave one time loads up just to get off the ball and just slips and falls face first. You know, it's that bad. Super Bowl game, Arizona, and they can't get the turf right.
Yeah, it's an arid desert state. And then I say another factor on top of that. A lot of players today, even skill position players, they don't wear the screw-ins like we used to. You know,
they don't want to, right? And they don't want to listen.
Yeah, I don't know why not. I mean, once I got to college, it was screw-ins all day on grass, and even towards the end of my career, when there were the new molded Nikes or whatever Adidas were coming out, I'm like, it's molded. I say molded for me is Miami game, or on a sunny day. But Green Bay to Chicago to any outdoor stadium, I'm like cleated up, especially if it's raining. Then I'm doing the diamond stud that Red used to put in for us on a rainy slushy day to make sure we did not fall at all, because that was prime stuff for us. If we can't stay on our feet, then it's a problem. We got to get it fixed on our own as professional athletes.
No doubt. And one thing that's nuts, and I noticed this when I was in Miami, because it's, life's changed in the National Football League, and shoes are a big branding agent. Yeah. Whether or not it's the my cause, my cleat, or whether it's just that they're writing stuff on there all the time, or they have a special guy design their shoes. These guys, a lot of them, and I'm not saying this happened with the Philadelphia Eagles, but I'm saying this is a thing. These guys have a set of shoes. It could be a pair of molded shoes, and they're going like, dude, we're going to be in Arizona. It's covered. They grow the turf. Everything's going to be fine. And so they don't want to change those shoes. And they'll go out in the first quarter. It's like, if you're in the second quarter, third quarter, and you're changing your shoes for the first or second time, you've made a mistake, because you should have gone out and gone, okay, I might have a problem here, man. Let's fix this before we get too far into this. Like, when you and I had to change cleats, it was usually because a damp grass got wet.
Got wetter. Yeah, better. Got worse.
Game. Yeah, correct. It got worse. So the snow was melting underneath. They have the field heaters, so the snow would melt. It would get soupy, or it was raining. It would get soupy. It's getting
slushy.
Worse than it was in warm-ups, because in warm-ups you'd go out and be like, oh, I don't care what shoes I wear. I'm going to wear the ones that make me play well. Yeah. I don't know if it's necessarily that way these days.
Yeah, no, it doesn't seem like it, because that was, like I said, as a professional, you went out on your own, and even the good coaches would be like, I remember Edgar would be like, AG, go out and check. I said, oh yeah, I'm headed out to do that right now. So it's already in my head, because I know that me being a good running back is not going to be me slipping, trying to cut back on 92 blast. I said, that's going to be on me. It's not, is it going, why your cleats in, what's going on? Red had all the stuff ready on the sideline. So I didn't want to hear that. And I never heard that, because I went to Red after I do warm-ups, come back in, he'd put the diamond stud in or whatever I needed to go out there and have traction.
No doubt.
Yep.
No doubt. So Gardner Johnson's down, and this is one of the problems. So they're in nickel. So they decided to play nickel against, I think it's just 11 personnel. And
yep, it is.
And they go with their 5-down line, because they bring their other linebacker. They bring Hassan Reddick down to the line of scrimmage. They bring 57 down the line of scrimmage, right? When they go motion across, now Gardner Johnson's at the point of attack. And this is just good. Like, this is good scheme by the Chiefs, right?
It is great.
Anytime you can get Creed Humphrey on your safety, and he's going to be at the point of attack. Like, that's bad matchup problems for the Philadelphia Eagles, right? And Pacheco, as hard as this guy runs, like, you still have to create opportunity. Look at that. Look at the way the guy finishes, man.
Yeah, awesome. Picked up 5 yards on on the punch through right
on the
there.
contact. Yeah.
Yep, on the contact.
So this is Kelsey's first touchdown. You just got to appreciate the craft.
Yep.
So he's got a snap release. These guys want to play man coverage, so they quickly switch leverage responsibilities as he goes inside in motion. Now he's just going to run like
It's
the
a corner.
stick nod. Yeah, he's just running his out and up, right? This is the old chair route when you were in high school, but he does it real fast like a stick nod.
Yeah.
Throws the fade. So talented, man. So talented.
This has that savviness of knowing when, even if it was a called route, still adjusting to the ball, because a lot of players you see sometimes when the ball's in the air, they can't find it and can't get their hands into the right spot.
This is Hassan Reddick again, and we're talking about lessons learned from San Francisco. These guys do self-scouting. They look at other teams. They look at the opponents and who they've played against, right? And so last week we noticed that, we made the comment, I think, well, why would you not run like K4, K5 and run the tight end and the running back over against your best pass rusher, right? We said that a couple times. Well, they're running K4 here. They're just running K4 protection, which is a 5-man slide away from the number call. So 5-man slide to the left, and they set with their tight end, and then they bring McKinnon over, take Hassan Reddick on the inside here. So now you have double teams across the board with your 5 offensive linemen, and then their best pass rusher has 2 guys on him. So you got man and a half protection everywhere else, and look who it is again. Travis Kelce, 6 catches, 81 yards, and a touchdown in a Super Bowl. I mean, the guy's a machine.
And that might have been the play where Hargrove fell at the snap, because I saw him just getting up as Mahomes threw the ball.
It really was insane to see how much they fall. So here's Reddick right now. If we snapshot this play right here and you go, is he going to win this? I go, absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. He's got leverage. He's got his shoulder down. Like this is a win, but it's not. It's just he's going to fall over on the ground again. Because they just don't have any traction. You can't play edges if you don't have traction.
No.
And this is maybe another one where you go, Mahomes is a great player. He's a magician. Reddick usually looks like he usually moves like a player that makes that play. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's fair. And it was interesting to know. I'm not sure. It was a lot of talking going on at the time when they showed a graphic of Jalen Hurts had switched with the shoe he started with. He went from it was a Nike Air Jordan patent leather. I'm assuming it was molded. That's what he has on right here in this photo. And then I think by second quarter he switched to the AJ1 that most likely maybe had studs in there for better traction for himself anyway. So by halftime he was in another shoe.
Play action passes the touchdown to AJ Brown, and again,
great.
You want to give the Chiefs offensive line credit. You know what I'm saying? Like they're good. They're a good line. This is apples and oranges. I mean, this is what Jalen Hurts is looking down the barrel of. There's nobody within 5 yards of him, bro.
Nah,
you know what I mean? Like they're all on the line. This is ridiculous. And I know they brought that. This is play action. They got extra people in, but oh my goodness gracious.
Yeah. He took one good hitch step and had all the room to get every bit of his body into that throw to get it to AJ Brown.
You look down here at look at the left tackle, and you just see how he has to back up. It's just not a fluid movement. And then you see Wiley out there, and Wiley's already opened up, and all these things. These guys are effective players in the National Football League. I'm not saying that they're anything of the such, but Josh Sweat has Orlando Brown Jr. beat right here.
Yeah.
Again, and then you're bringing over McKinnon to chip off of Reddick.
Yeah.
This is a completely different, it's a completely different game that the Chiefs and really everybody else in the National Football League would be playing against the Eagles, and the Eagles play against everybody else. You know what I mean? We see the Eagles play against everybody else. It's like 5-man line. We don't care if we're doing the play action. Maybe we'll keep a tight end in. We don't do a lot of chipping. It's just a different ball game, man. Just a different ball game. Fun to watch though. So this is where I thought this game's over. This is second. This is second quarter, and Jalen Hurts pulls this one out of his hat, and I'm like, bro, I think it was a third and 8.
Third and 8. Yeah.
I'm thinking this game's over, and then sure enough, they do this jump off sides, which that whole formation is just the biggest rugby scrum I've ever seen. I love it.
It is. They've got some education from. They probably had a rugby coach come in, or they're watching film. Yep. and to teach the linemen how to scrum. You know, and I understand that process too. It's not fun, but it's what the grinders, what the big guys do on the rugby pitch.
So Willie Gay doesn't even touch him when he fumbles the ball. And you talked about this before. You know, this is a called quarterback draw at 3rd and 6.
Yep.
You know, they're probably willing to get down. You know, they get 4th and 2, 4th and 3. Even they're probably going for this. The statistics show it makes more sense from a number standpoint. He fumbles, and this is, you know, you get back in the game. You think about the two ways that they had to get back in this game. You know, they had obviously the turnover, but then they had that huge punt return down to the 4-yard line, and those plays went towards the Chiefs.
Yeah, Kadarius Toney, you know, coming back from the ankle injury in the first week of the playoffs, didn't play this last week's game, but then, or 2 weeks ago, didn't play, but was able to get healthy and have a big return there. So yeah, having those little nuggets happen, it just, because it could have painted a different picture of where this game ended. And for, like I said, Jalen Hurts did not rattle him, came right back in firing the next series.
So this is the next series. This is 4th and 5, and Jason Kelce has rightfully now is being called, you know, the best pulling center in the game, and like the best.
Yeah.
And he's probably going to the Hall of Fame. He might be a first ballot guy. He's an amazing guy, amazing personality. I have nothing but respect and admiration for him, right?
Yeah.
But it's crazy, like, he's 265 pounds. So it's like, well, the narrative's like, oh, he's this great player. It's like, yeah, dude, because he's 265 pounds. Like, this is what he should be doing. Like,
right.
if you want to go get Gabe Jackson to play center at 335 and be a road grader, go get Gabe Jackson. Yep. You want a dude who can just get around places. He's mean, he's nasty, he's super smart, he's technical, and he can move. This is your guy, right? So they're going to run this quarterback pull where they pull the center around to the left. We see this play all the time. And this is a big play.
Fourth and 5.
4th and 5, you know, and they just gave up that fumble touchdown, and Hurts takes this out the back door. I mean, Hurts has 70 yards rushing on the day, 4.7 average, man. This guy's really, really unique.
Yeah. If they win this game, we already know he's a Super Bowl MVP. He got 4 touchdowns total, production right there, and just did a lot for his team.
We got Fletcher Cox here winning. We got the chip up top. We got the chip down below. So both tackles get help. So they got a double team inside. Fletcher Cox ends up beating the right guard early. Can't keep his footing. Creed Humphrey finishes it off. Mahomes makes it happen. You know, again,
yeah,
it's nuts. So
that's why he's special. Yeah, that's why he's special. He's able to move the feet in the right way, get himself, and always keep his eyes downfield. I mean, that is something that is hard to learn for most quarterbacks, is to move your body, but then also keep your eyes looking upfield. And he does it. He makes it look easy, but that's just training, you know, keeping it in practice. I'm pretty sure Andy Reid, the enemy, are always hitting on that constantly with Pat Mahomes.
When is the enemy going to get a head coaching job?
Don't know.
They're all gone now, right?
At this moment, yeah, I think they are, and Arizona, I think he's in a good spot though.
Who's Arizona?
Oh, you know what? I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe not Arizona.
I don't think they have they might not have a guy yet. Yeah. How does he? If he doesn't, I mean, I don't disagree that he's in a good spot. He's winning Super Bowls. He's got a lot of rings now. But at some point, you want to run your own show, right?
I would say no to that, because it's like you're in a good spot. You're in a good spot. And if anything, you wait till Andy retires. Then you could take over the reins there instead of going somewhere and try to build your own thing, which a lot of coaches like to do. But I think he has it good there in KC. With Andy Reid, just another way to look at it. Because I always look at it like, I always thought about it like, okay, you've been a great DC or a great OC, and you just won a couple of Super Bowls. Mm-hmm. Why would you want to leave that spot when you're already making good money? The players already know you and love you, and you have their buy-in. Why mess that up? It ain't broke. Don't try to fix it. And then wait. If you could wait it out with the head job, where you're at. You know, that's just one scenario.
5 more years, bro.
Right. True. And they're big enemy. I mean, he's in his Andy's what, 60-something, 65?
Andy's 64.
64. So he'll be 65 by the time the next season starts.
So Belichick's 70, Pete Carroll's 70. So let's say 6 more years until he's 70. Is it worth waiting?
It depends on where his mindset is at. If it's something where he feels, he feel cozy at home, you know what? Yeah, I'll wait it out. But if it's something where he feels, you know what, I want to go and do it now.
You don't think he wants a job? You don't think he'd take a head coaching job?
No, I probably think he would, but I'm just saying maybe one part of his mindset might be this, where he's like, I'm okay where I'm at, and or that one of, you know what, yeah, let's go out here, let's reach out on my own. I want to, do my job and build up a program, and be successful as a head coach. So it just you don't know where those thoughts are for an individual coach like that. Great guy though, great guy.
One of the questions from our listeners, the natural grassers that mess with synthetic, they grow this grass outside. They made a big deal about it.
Yeah.
There is grass that they mix with synthetic now. This is not one of them. They started doing this with the Houston Texans, actually, when they opened that stadium down Energy Stadium. They grow it on pallets outside, like on a separate field right outside the stadium, and they just bring it in. The problem with it is it doesn't stick. Like it's not born into the ground that it's being used on, right? So it's just like sod. It's like the sod pallets that are like, I don't know, 4 inches thick. They throw it on. They let it grow into the soil, but it doesn't. It really is just not a good solution. We did this. Remember in Carolina, we went to that game. There's like 16,
my God,
there was like 16 lower body extremities because they during
MCLs,
the bye week.
Yes.
And I think we lost our first round pick that year, an ACL injury. Right?
That was 01 season, right? That was 01. That was Jamal Reynolds. Was it Jamal J.
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah, and because they lost Dan Morgan.
They lost Demo, that's right.
Yep, they lost to Demo. But to your question about the Cardinals, right now they're interviewing Jonathan Gannon from the Eagles. That's right. And also I think they have talked to Bieniemy as well. So no coach there in Arizona yet.
I think it's because
we tested.
Right. I think no coach wants to go there because of Kyler Murray. I'm just being honest with you.
Right. I mean, if you got different mindsets, and that's unfortunate.
Didn't he come out and say like he's going to have a role in who they hire to? It's like,
man.
What? It's like, no, you're not that guy. Like, I don't
if
care
I'm
how
a
much
coach,
money you have.
right? If I'm a coach coming in, I'm not believing that. I'm like, you're gonna have to show me. I was like, you got to show me. What I was gonna say was real quick. We were testing synthetic and mixed grass back when I was here at the University of Nebraska back in 1996. So yeah, they, like you just described it, they would have it on another field, and then eventually they asked us to come test it out, like run on it, give feedback from the coaches and the players. So that was my sophomore season, going into my sophomore season. So that's how long they've been testing this stuff out. So
they have, listen, if you go to Penn State, they actually have like a turf college. And they, no joke, in the NFL.
No, I believe it.
Yeah, there's crazy. And there's another one I think in Baltimore maybe. But they do all the rotational analysis with all the different cleats, and they rate all the cleats, and Under Armour is worse than Nike, is worse than Boat, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
And this kind of turf's better than this kind of turf, and they give them, and it's all, they all do this, and it's big business, and they all do it in the name of player safety, and so that's why I can't let go the fact that this turf is awful. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like could just, it would be easy for us to just go, well, they made a mistake. It's like, no, dude, you guys spend far too much money on this, and you promote it way too often and make it a thing for it to be this poor and to actually have what, in my opinion, is one of the largest effects on the game that you could have, there's things you can control and things you can't, right? The players can't control that you put bad grass on there, but you could have controlled it.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, yeah.
Let's go. Second half, the Chiefs come out. 13 personnel. First play of the second half. Like this is what we're doing this half, right? We're gonna run the football. I think on this first drive they ran the ball more than they threw. And let's just put this out there now. The reason that Pat Mahomes is considered one of the top X amount of quarterbacks in the National Football League in the history of the league, we'll get to that after the film, is because in the second half of this game, on 100 is a QBR perfect score. He had like a 99.6. In the first 3 drives, I think he had one incompletion. It was a throwaway in the back of the end zone, and they had scored 3 touchdowns. The guy's unbelievable.
Yeah.
But this is how they started. They start, and they run 2 tight ends on one side blocking down. They pull Thuney. They pull Kelsey. Bang, bang. And you look at this again. This is where you got to give the Chiefs credit. The Chiefs had to go 5 down offensive linemen versus 5 down defensive linemen one-on-one. And this happened a handful of times in the game. Everybody's on their own, and you're playing against a really, really good defensive line in the Philadelphia Eagles. And a combination of great blocking by a couple guys in particular. I thought Joe Thuney and Creed Humphrey won their matchups all day long. And that allowed Patrick Mahomes to find space when somebody else maybe got an edge. Fletcher Cox gets an edge here on the right guard, and he ends up, of course, getting the ball to Kelsey again, makes a fantastic play.
Wow, great catch. Great catch.
You look at this again, man. This is like the first drive of the second half, and both of those guys are on the deck. Again.
Oh my goodness.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It's one thing. It's one thing it's really hard, right? Because we're not sitting here and saying those guys didn't play well because it's not their fault.
No.
But this is ridiculous.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, it's hard.
By the way, look at this.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that during the game.
Just all over, man. He's
he was having some fun right there.
That's an experience right there.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not gonna let you get off the ground. I'm gonna just destroy you here. But good job by Mahomes with the ankle still making play, doing what he needs to do. He's just like, F the ankle, let's play ball. And that's what he was doing.
So for great pocket again, of course, right? This is it's absurd. It's just again, they're playing a different game up front. But for people who say, the Eagles offense is easy, the Patrick Mahomes, you make a play quarterback, dude, look at this throw, man. This is a cover 2 throw.
Yeah.
So cover 2 throw, meaning that the guy in front of so Goddard just ran like the short 7. The guy in front of Goddard is falling off of the outside route from the inside route from the outside receiver. He's falling
from the hard flat.
He's the cover 2 corner. He's falling off, and he has to throw it in that window. And some of the throws to Goddard and to a lot of players, but to Goddard in particular, you're going, dude, there's only a handful of guys in the entire world that can make these throws. Like, what are we talking about?
Yeah, he had about 2 of those to Goddard in the game for first and second half.
So that was a big sequence. So they scored. The Eagles came back, and they only got a field goal out of it. The Chiefs come back.
Yeah, that was big. That was huge.
That was huge, right?
Yeah,
and this is where we start talking about 13 personnel, bro. And you see Orlando Brown Jr. coming down on Javon Hargrave, and he's looking the wrong direction. You see Joe Thuney's on the nose tackle. Nose tackle's looking the wrong direction. Like, this is when you talk about offensive line, defensive line, and guys dominating. This is what we're talking about. The interior offensive line moving bodies off the ball on a short yardage play. This is impressive, man.
Yep. Yeah, when you got people facing the other way, then you got a running back like Pacheco who runs hard, even though he's not a big kid. You start respecting and getting respect and getting the yards you need to pick up.
So this is the great first scheme. Of those 2 whip routes.
Yep, great scheme.
This happened against them in the Jaguars game. Self-scouting.
Yeah.
So the Chiefs, kudos to them for picking up. You look at what happened. So when Tony comes in, Kadarius Toney comes in really fast. Both of those guys, Darius Slay, I think that's Maddox is the other one, the other defensive back. They're both kind of communicating and looking in at Pat Mahomes. They're assuming that Tony's going over the top. They're trying to tell somebody on the other side to pick him up. The safety on the other side is supposed to pick up the motion, but their eyes go away from Kadarius Toney. And this is the easiest pitch and catch they had all day, except for the next one, of course, right? But that's
Good
like
job.
You said, man. That's scheme winning, right?
Yeah, that's scheme winning. That's watching film of the previous games and doing the self-scouting to scouting your team you're about to face and say, oh, you know what? Let's change this up right here. Let's put a little, cut back here for Zadarius Toney or whoever's playing that receiver on the motion. So motion, instead of you going all the way across, let's stop it and come right back because they got to bounce the call. So that's where Andy Reid, somebody of his experience, they understand defensive coverages and the responsibilities that they have. And that responsibility was, yes, it's man coverage, and you got to bounce the call. He knows that, so they're going to start running to make sure they get in position because it's rules they got to follow. In cover 2, you can't cheat, or in cover 1 or any defense, you can't cheat. And they caught them, sticking to those rules, but then getting beat on it for the touchdowns and 2 of these touchdowns in the fourth quarter, in the second half.
Packers fans will remember, I think 2 years ago, Devontae Adams did a stop and go behind the quarterback across the center and it wasn't really beating Jalen Ramsey. It was actually, they switched it off. They made a mistake, but they ended up getting the touchdown on the flat against the LA Rams. And Jalen Ramsey was livid, if you remember the play. And what happens is with these guys is the speed of the motion screws them up. And so just think about it from a man-to-man standpoint, AG. If I go really fast, if you run away from me really fast and I don't keep up with you, then you're just going to throw it in the flat. It's a touchdown. Kadarius Toney just goes across the touchdown, right? If I try to beat you across, my eyes can't stay on you. I have to navigate around linebackers. So now I can turn back around. So
the problem.
So this to me, as long as you motion quickly, I don't know how you defend this, without switching coverages and having to box everybody in.
It's almost it's like when the back shoulder throw became a thing.
Yeah.
When not it's just done every now and then, it's done all the time, and it's never a throw that you can, as a DB, stop. You just gotta, make the tackle, and then live to the next play. That's all you could do. So having that plays like that, when I saw that play, I went back to the high school level. I said, just imagine a high school team doing this. Like a high school team would spam this, which is run it literally every time they're in the red zone, no matter what, because they know that DB's got to go over top and haul ass just in case to stay in front of, and then you do the cutback with your motion. That's an easy walk in every time.
No doubt. So this is the next series. So now they're going to put the ball away because this is 3rd and 2 here. This is a big play in the game, and you see that they've walked you down to the line of scrimmage, and this is free intel. So for people out there, what does that mean? The tight end is a yard behind the left tackle. What does that mean to me? That means that he's going across the ball. He's split flow. He's far enough away that if that tackle kicks back, he won't run into him. That's the only reason you would be deep. There's no other reason for him to be in that position. He's not deep enough to insert into the A or the B gap. He's too deep to be a help on a chip. You'd rather have the guy closer to the line of scrimmage on a chip because you don't want to be on different levels. So their only reason, this is free intel for this, for Willie Gay. We flushed this. I'm surprised that they weren't ready for this play because this is one of the ones where Spags guessed right. They keyed this, and I don't know if Willie Gay had man coverage on that and then decided to dog when he went backside and just decided, I see quarterback, go get quarterback. But this certainly worked out really well because they put this ball away to Kadarius Toney, and they end up down here on the 4-yard line. Now we see the other whip route, and now you see AG. This guy just is like, no, I'm going to beat him across. What we just talked about, this is the other way to run this. Okay, we're going to go man, and I'm going to try to beat him to the spot. And it's like, whoops, you can't keep your eyes on the dude you're supposed to be covering.
Oh my God! I mean, that's just because you're doing your job as a defensive back. You're like, yep, I'm gonna get over top of him, then I'm gonna be right in his face when he gets the ball, either on a handoff or on a nice screen throw. But then when he plants, it's like, oh God, everything just dropped for 29, trying to get back to the area. There's nothing he could do about it.
You watch so much film, and then they show you something that you haven't seen. You just go like, oh God.
Right.
Here's a Jason Kelce appreciation shot. So Jason Kelce, we're talking about him being the best pulling center. Watch this.
Yeah. I remember this play too. I loved it.
Dude, the thing I like about him the most is he literally never slows down. He's just he's so confident that he's on the right track and that his back's just going to make him look, like he's just going to cut off him. But he's never measuring dudes, man. He's just like, nah, I'm just going to run you right through. I'm strong. I have leverage. He trucks you don't see that very often where a linebacker gets trucked. That dude just got trucked.
Yeah, truck stick all day. Yes, sir. Loving it. Clean
so right here, this is that big throw to Devonta Smith, and so they go single safety. And again, I keep bringing up this pocket because I just want people to appreciate how good the Eagles line is, man. This is ridiculous. But as soon as Jalen Hurts sees single safety and he sees Devonta Smith is almost hip to hip after 5 yards with the cornerback, it's like, dude, this is all you can eat go time. This guy is an absolute burner, man.
Yeah, that's probably what Joe Montana felt like with Jerry Rice. I'm gonna throw this stuff deep.
Look at that.
Yeah.
So good.
More inside, it's a touchdown, but he still got it here. And that play is unstoppable.
The rugby scrum, and then this is what makes this guy special.
It is. This is. I mean, short yardage. You got your quarterback is gonna get hit at the 1 or at the 2, and then push everybody with. Are you coming on a ride with me? That's what I used to tell guys. You're gonna ride with me into the end zone. You're not stopping me on the goal line because I'm going to get it. And that's. I
want to give Jordan Mailata a shout out here because it sounds simple, but he has to make sure this edge is at worst a stalemate, and this is like his open side edge, and it's the key block of the play. And Jalen Hurts is super impressive here, but like Jordan Mailata, look how he just turns away. I think this is Frank Clark. He just turns his whole body towards the sideline, and all of a sudden, like now the play is going to work now. Period. Because as soon as you get that body turned towards the sideline, you know that defensive end is not going to be able to redirect if Jalen Hurts decides to cut the ball up.
No.
But look at this contact, man.
Boom.
I mean, first of all, what is this guy doing?
Which one?
Who comes out of the bottom here? 21.
Oh, 21.
Bro, what is? Come on.
No,
man. You 360. You did a 360. It's the Super Bowl.
That was Olay. He did an Olay.
Oh, man.
That was Olay.
That's tough, huh?
If he wouldn't have Olay, he probably would have stopped him. But he did. He Olayed. But this hit right here, though, fight. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, you like that one, huh?
I love that.
I had to put that in there for you.
I like that because this is a defense. Because because the whole game, Pachenko has set the tone.
Yeah.
To the Philly defense. And he's done the whole playoff, regular season when he got the ball. This is a defense saying to Pachenko, hey, bro, we here. We're not going anywhere. And you have to do that. It's a mental thing. It keeps the game even because if you don't have safeties, you don't have defenders, linebackers, bring in the hat, hitting and a clean hit too. Hit him dead in his chest. It was all shoulder pad right in his sternum. That right there sends a message. It's a safe hit. Then also, this is going to be like it's 4.5 minutes left in the game.
This is the drive,
right? This is it. So this is where you want team players like him, like on offense. That when you bring certain hits like this, it doesn't matter. You got to do this because the game is on the line. And so, from a standpoint of Pachenko taking the hit because it took him a little bit to get up, but he got back in the huddle. And Gardner right there, too, bringing that hit down there. He's not a big guy, but to bring that hit him.
I think he's a free agent. He's a free agent, by the way.
All right. That'll be
what a pickup. What a pickup that would be.
An amazing pickup. So great hit there.
I thought this is another one of those moments where I'm like, oh, like the Eagles might have him. You know what I mean? Because it's like I thought he knocked Pacheco out of the game. Yeah,
right.
Of course I did because I'm an idiot.
No,
so this is what you love about Kelsey, though, bro. So they do the quick motion out of the backfield just to move the linebacker enough so he's got to account for him. So because the linebacker doesn't want to get leveraged, right?
Yeah.
So he widens out, and what does Kelsey do?
Just turns around.
Yeah, it just turns around and falls forward and gets. I think it was 2nd and 8, and he got 7. It's like, come on, man.
And that's something I know in film review. That is a constant reminder to Pat Mahomes to, hey, he's going to turn around because this play is going to do this. Like you said, the linebacker don't want to be out leveraged. So that linebacker is going to go to McKinnon or any running back coming out the backfield, just popping around Travis. And then Pat, he's right there. That's your first progression. Hit that. That's another 5, whatever, at least 5 yards bare minimum once he catches the ball.
It's not sexy. So I don't think everybody runs it. It's not sexy with people. It's almost like hot reads. It feels like they're almost running hot reads sometimes. It's like, I almost fall forward for 6 or 7.
That's it.
21 personnel here. Third and 1, big play in the game. Indicator, right?
Right. That right there is staggered in the backfield.
Staggered. There's only one reason this dude's up close because he's going to attack that defensive end. Now, that defensive end doesn't know if he's going to try to dig him out or try to roll him. So they're just gonna have that confrontation. But this is an indicator that you need to know and you need to get on the offensive side of the line of scrimmage as fast as possible because that running back is coming towards you.
Yeah.
He gets rolled over. They pull Thuney.
Good hit again.
Big play, man. These are big plays.
Physicality, big run, but also big hit. I like the hit at the end right there.
So we get tight end help, and then we get Pacheco out here to chip off on the other defensive ends. So both defensive ends have help. But why do I highlight that, man? Because Thuney and Creed Humphrey are locking dudes out in this second half in particular. Is this the play of the game?
Yep, that's the play of the game. That's the play of the game.
Everybody talks about the penalty, but that's the play of the game.
Play the game for the Chiefs.
And then this I was like, oh man, I wonder if he's gonna go in because they're all like, please score,
Yeah, once I saw him when he got around the corner, when he started looking around, I'm like, he's gonna down it. I was like, That's some heads up football right there.